I'll try to speak loud enough. My name is Genevieve Miller. I live at 137, 139 Locust Street in Muse, Pennsylvania. We received a letter recently from Peacock Keller, attorneys representing the school board, Cambridge School Board, telling me that they are going to take 12 feet length of property from my yard for the price of $1,800. If anyone knows where my property is, I live right behind the post office, the yellow house. They propose to take 12 feet, which comes right to my porch. So my fence would be right along my porch. I cannot explain and tell you what I feel. Years ago, Chuck and I bought the property. I lived in Muse 25 years. Chuck lived in Muse 16 years. We bought the property 7 years ago, and we did extensive rehabilitation to the property and to the home. I've lived in Muse, as I said, 25 years, and I enjoy the property. We spent last year, when we first bought the property, we put 17 trees along the line to give us some privacy. They have now grown to be 5 to 6 feet tall. Last year, I took the corners and I landscaped them. I ordered perennials, $800 worth of perennials. In the $1,800, they say that is for my property alone. Never mention about the landscaping. They told me they will pay to landscape the buffer area. The buffer area is not my yard. The buffer area, which I still take care of now, is not mine, but I take care of it. They will landscape that area, but they won't landscape mine. I have a fence. They never mention relocating my fence. I have electrical outlets, no mention to electrical outlets. I have 3 dogs. A fence is imperative. My husband had a stroke 3 years ago. Chuck is handicapped. He has Alzheimer's. I need a fence. At least it slows him down a little bit. I cannot be everywhere. These decisions were made without comment or input from the community. We were told at a meeting at Muse Fire Hall that we would have time to comment on their outcome. They told us no problem. We would again be told about a meeting, again to be held at Muse Fire Hall, so we could tell our input, give our input. I received a letter this week telling me you're taking it, and for me to contact the attorneys to sign the appropriate papers. I can't, in my right mind, sign a paper away that they're going to take my property without any discussion, which we were told that we would get. So I'm asking tonight, I know supervisors were there. Was there a meeting? Did you attend the school board meeting? Was there a way that, $1,800, I'm a realtor. I know that my property is worth more than $1,800. I know what that does to my property, taking the gate to my porch. They said this is supposed to improve public safety. What about my safety? My house has already been hit once by a car. My gate has been hit 3 times, where it's located right now. So only imagine bringing traffic closer to my home. I don't need this. I don't need this worry. So please, I mean, I could, I need some help. I understand the road needs to be widened. And I know there's a building on the other side. We can't do anything about that building. But why can't it be one way? I mean, there's a road there now. I can't imagine 12 more feet. So please, I'm asking for help. I know that from what we understand, the post office is gone.
That's actually, we called a number of times to Superintendent McDaniels. Actually, I did. I finally talked to him this afternoon around 2 p.m. They don't know if the post office is going to be gone. The way it works, in my understanding, is that the local government can't take a federal post office, okay. So they have to ask. And they've asked. Now they've done it in the form of an eminent domain, but the post office can say no. So they have until Thursday, the end of day Thursday, June 4th, to respond. At this point, they have no clue what the post office is going to, how the post office is going to respond to them. And he is, you know, I explained to him, I said, we've really been kept out of the loop on this, and it's very difficult for us to explain to our residents what's going on when we ourselves don't know the answers. So I asked him, I said, it's very important to me that you keep us in the loop, and I assured him that I will continue to call, you know, until we get the answers that we're looking for.
Okay, I have a survey. If you would like to see a survey of the proposed site. Now, the man who lives above me, I don't know his name, just bought the property. So he bought the property, and now he's losing half of his yard, as proposed.
Right.
And we're not given when this is supposed to happen or anything. Just contact the attorneys. You know, where was the input? We were promised input by the residents, and I told them exactly where I lived. I said, I understand I'm going to be involved some way, somehow. Please, I need to know.
I would express those. I mean, we keep expressing it to the school board, but it's really going to take you going to a school board meeting.
And this was another problem. I Googled the school district's board of directors last meeting, and reading it, it says duly advertised. Where it was duly advertised, I do not know, for this special meeting. If this special meeting concerns me, I should have gotten an invitation to it. I did not. As far as I know, no one did. You know
you're not bound by the initial offer they make you. I mean, you have a right to present your side. They have to come up with a number, and if it would have been satisfactory to you, you probably would have gone to their attorneys to sign that paperwork. But if it's not, you still have that right to have it reevaluated.
Okay. My concern though is the public safety. If you go into Muse, I live at the Yellow House right behind the post office. If you go to where the porch is, the concrete pad, my fence would actually be right at the end of the concrete pad.
Right, but the other thing I did hear him say at that meeting, that if they took 12 feet, they would only make improvements in 6 of the feet. So the extra 6 feet, it would still be grass and it could be fenced, you have to look like it's part of your yard. I mean, any street that you see, whether it's a township or a state road, the municipality owns a certain distance on each side of the pavement. And most people cut right up to the pavement and it looks like part of their front yard, but actually the line is sometimes it's 13 to 14 feet into their property. So that's that 12 feet they're actually going to be taking. You'll still have the free use of 6 of the feet, from what I understood the drawing showed.
No, from the drawing that I saw, the proposed was at the line of my concrete pavement. I can show it to you. And then buffer zone after that. So it'd be my fence line, the buffer area, then the sidewalk, then the road.
Right, the buffer is that area that they're taking more than they're actually improving.
But it would also be on the other side of the fence.
Can you give me your contact information? Perhaps we can, when I
Certainly.
call my Daniels, I'll call them again tomorrow.
Okay.
I can get the drawing that they have as of tomorrow.
Okay, I mean, if you want to see the letter, I have no problem showing you the letter.
No, that's fine. And then perhaps you can speak directly with him, because I know that, I'll be honest, you have to be a little bit of a pain, but I kept calling and I was able, and I expressed to him today that the way that it's been handled isn't really going to be okay, isn't going to really be acceptable. We need to make sure that we're communicating, especially with the people that are going to be impacted the most.
Absolutely.
And he understood that, so.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Hillary. I'd like to say something to you, Melissa. I have been upset about this since the very first time that I heard about it. I would suggest that several things I want to say. I think that the school board has been totally unprofessional in their handling of this matter. They've totally disregarded the community of Muse. They've disregarded the fact that the post office was the last vestige of a community center where the people went and talked and visited with their neighbors. They've not contacted anyone, and to me that's reprehensible. I cannot tell you how this upsets me for all of you. And my suggestion, not only to you and to Mr. DiMatteo, is to all of the residents of Muse to go to the school board meeting and call beforehand so that you're on the agenda and raise hell. This is a disgrace what's being done to you. None of you know anything. You
No,
don't
no, absolutely
know
not.
where you're going to get mail, what they're going to do. They're going to do whatever they want, ride roughshod over the community.
Gwennifer, I'd like to say something to you, too. I've been going through this with the Turnpike myself, so I know that there's issues that when they're taking your property, okay? One thing I can tell you is you'd be best off going and getting an attorney. But I understand. Now, here's some of the things that come into play, though, too. If they are going to be taking your property, then they need to compensate you also for the devaluation of the rest of your property, too. And the attorney can explain more than I could ever do, because I'm not an attorney. But the basis is, they have the right under eminent domain, just like the Turnpike Commission has eminent domain, the school district is. If they want to take it, you're not going to be able to beat them. They're going to take it off of you. So you might as well make sure that you get compensated for whatever improvements you've done.
I don't have money for an attorney.
I know, I don't either, but I still have to do it. I'm just saying Chris will probably tell you more about this than I could.
I have no money for an attorney.
One thing that the eminent domain code does provide, did you get a letter, or
Yes.
did you get a declaration of taking?
No,
I got a letter
I
from
know
you.
there's been no declaration of taking filed.
I don't think they know for sure that they're taking your property because they don't even know for sure whether or not they're
They've already
taking.
made an offer and I have to sign the papers.
But they don't even know for sure that they're taking the post office is what I'm saying. So I think they're kind of even getting a little bit ahead of themselves. So that's what I'm saying, I don't think it would hurt you, like Andy said, to get an attorney, but I also don't.
Now, I know under the state with the Turnpike Commission that they reimburse you for up to $4,000 on attorney fees. I don't know if that applies to the school district under their eminent domain or not, Chris.
There's one eminent domain code, so it applies to everybody, and that's what I was going to say, is that they need, this is after the way the process works is a municipality and political subdivision will try to buy the property from you originally. And if they can't reach an agreement with you, they'll file what's known as a declaration of taking, which is the official start of eminent domain proceedings. You have 30 days after that's filed to file preliminary objections, and that is where you would challenge something along the lines of you have no basis to take my property. And it's a pretty broad brush for the basis. It has to be for a public purpose, which is pretty broad. But once that happens, and when Andy said you should get an attorney, the advantage is the $4,000 goes, it helps to make sure that the price they offer you is fair. So you can have an attorney look at it, you can have an appraiser look at it, and the test isn't how much is that strip of land worth, it's how much is your property worth before,
Correct.
and how much after.
Correct. Okay, thank you very much.